other shows we have for you to enjoy at myclassicradio.net. The Avengers was most certainly not a household name in South Africa prior to the radio series. With no national television service until 1976, the mechanism simply was not present in the country to show television programs to mass audiences. While many other countries reveled in the filmed adventures of John Steed and company, South Africa was not equipped to join in the fun. The series took Britain by storm and made a major impression in the American markets, being that greatest of rarities, a British series given a network transmission slot. However, as a filmed series, rather than a videotaped one, The Avengers was able to gain a modicum of exposure in South Africa through film rentals. Come and listen at myclassicradio.net.
From Hollywood, the CBS Radio Workshop, dedicated to man's imagination, the theater of the mind.
Cherries, sweet cherries, cherries ripe, 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 I cry, so sweet, so full, come and
Sweet Cherries in Charleston. The author, Richard Durham. The director, William N. Robeson. The star, Roy Glenn. The story, a saga of Denmark Vesey, who lived and died in Charleston more than 100 years ago. But they still remember Denmark Vesey down in South Carolina. They still talk about him. And this is what they say.
They say he walked as though he was the only free man in the courtroom. They say he walked as though the world watched him. They say a gamble was the beginning of it. A gamble one night at a carnival when he bought a $20 play on a lottery wheel.
She's stopping at number 6, 7, 8, 9 blue. Number 9 pays 100 to 1. Now, who's got number 9, folks? No one's got number 9.
I got it.
You got number 9, fella.
Yeah, how much am I worth?
A number in sight saves a fight. Show it.
Here you are.
A name goes with it.
Denmark Vesey.
Vesey? Say, you're Captain Vesey's slave, ain't you?
I am.
Now, I wonder what'd happen, say, if I just refused to pay off a slave.
And I wonder what'd happen, say, if I should take a barker's neck between my fingers like this broomstick and snap it.
They'd hang you, you know.
I'll gamble on it. I always gamble heavy. All right, how much am I worth?
$2,000. Take it and get out of here.
They say Denmark wrapped his money in a cotton sack, went to see a lawyer, then went aboard his ship to see his master, Captain Vesey.
Denmark? Denmark, is that you?
Yes, Master.
What do you want?
Master, how much am I worth?
Oh, it's that talk again, huh? I warned you once, Denmark. I warn you again. Get those ideas out of your head.
I'm asking...
I'm telling you. This craving for freedom is a sickness. It's unbecoming to a slave.
But, Master...
It's those books you read that turn your head. I watch you talk to slaves in the market. You read to them from the Bible. You read Tom Paine and Jefferson. You tell the slaves that all men are brothers and born equal, huh? Nonsense.
No, it ain't, Master.
I know what you're up to. I know you working in your spare time for other masters. You get $50 here, quarter there. You hope to save enough to buy your freedom. You know how long that would take you?
A very long time.
Methuselah could not live so long. I need money, too. I know how hard it comes these days.
Then why don't you sell me?
Where could I get your price?
How much am I worth?
Even at your most stubborn, you are a capable man, Denmark. You are worth at least $2,000.
Here's $2,000.
Denmark, where...
Here's a set of release papers. Will you sign them?
Sign?
Yeah, you need the money.
Yeah, you're sure?
I need my freedom.
$2,000. I talk hard, but I'm not a hard man. And I know you find a way to escape if I didn't let you go. I see it in your eyes. Somehow I feel like I am releasing a tornado. Here are your papers. Well, what will you do with this freedom?
What do you do with this money?
I use it to help those I love, my wife, my children.
I use my freedom to help those I love.
Yeah, I know. You in love with that girl who sells cherries in the marketplace, huh? But her master will never set her free. Never. So what good will your freedom do her, huh? Then, Mark, get below and sweep up my cabin.
You asking me or ordering me?
You. Right away you begin. You know, Denmark, it's strange to have owned a man's body for 20 years, not to know the first thing about his mind. All right, go, Denmark. You're free.
Cherries, sweet cherries, cherries ripe, 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 I cry. So sweet, so full, coming by.
I'll buy you cherries.
Denmark,
All of them.
how can you afford cherries?
Yesterday I was a slave, Annie. Today I'm a free man.
Then it's true about your luck.
That can be the same kind of luck for you, Annie.
You talk like a jackass. Where'd I get enough money to buy myself?
Oh, it ain't the money alone that makes a person free.
Money did all right by you.
In a gamble. And I know a bigger gamble. Would you gamble?
If the stakes were right.
If the stakes was freedom. If I could show you that every slave in Charleston is ripe to rebel, to build a new life where all men are equal, where a man could marry the woman he loved without fear of having her torn from him in the night, or sold from out of his arms, would you gamble for that?
Are my cherries red?
Blood red.
My stakes are in.
They say Denmark's disease hit the slaves in the marketplace like a plague. They say he believed no slave was immune to it, and so he risked telling his plan to the well-kept and contented foreman of slaves of Colonel Potter, who had never been hungry, never been whipped, but had never been free.
Why do you come to me, Denmark? The master leave me alone, I leave him alone. I do my work and I mind my business.
You know everything that goes on. I've heard you tell a slave when the train was coming on the underground track, and once you even told him how to board it and get to free land in Canada. I remember how your own sister escaped to Canada. I heard...
Don't you talk that way around here.
Rolla, you've worked well for your master. Now work well for yourself. You know every slave that handles a horse. The day'll come when we'll need 'em. Will you be with us?
How'll I know when the day come?
When we're strong enough. If you come and bring all those that follow you, we'll have more than 1,000.
If I go to them, they'll come, but there are others who only follow the leader of the slave called Peter Poyas. He's a man of the gospel and a man of peace. If you could get Peter, it would be worth a chance. I'll come if he come.
You go to your friends. I'll go to the slave called Peter.
They say Denmark opened the Bible that evening and read through the night. Read Exodus and Leviticus, Joshua and Job. And in the gray morning before dawn went to the cabin of the slave Peter.
Come marching in. Oh, when the saints come marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number.
Morning, Peter.
Why, morning, Denmark.
Peter, I've been reading the Bible all night.
I read it every night, Denmark.
I've been reading the words of Ezekiel and of Zechariah.
Yeah, I know the words of Zechariah.
Then you know he said, Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken. Charleston is Jerusalem.
Is that why you bought your freedom?
That's why I live. That's why I come to you.
Denmark, I'm against violence. My God and I are against bloodshed.
Are you against slavery?
I'm against destruction and hatred. My God is against setting one man against another.
Is your God against slavery?
God's against it.
Then how's he going to cure it? Can he reach the hearts of the slaveholders?
Their hearts are made of stone.
Don't it say somewhere that the Lord helps them that helps themselves?
Denmark, the Lord warned Gideon once to be careful about the men he picked to lead his army. There may be a Judas among the slaves.
You ain't no Judas. You just pick out those you can trust.
My followers will come, but there are those who don't follow me. There are the superstitious ones who follow Gullah Jack.
Gullah? That witch doctor that sells spells and charms?
My son, in a revolution, one looks for the honest, not the honored. Some say Gullah Jack is crazy. Some say he's wise, but I know he's honest. Go to him.
Who that? By a charm, you should come at night. Cast a spell, come only in the twilight. Who that? Oh, it's you. Denmark Vesey, the disbeliever. Why do you come here?
Gullah, I want you to cast a spell that'll make the slaves know the land is theirs as much as their masters. Tie together black men and white men in a common fight to free every man in Charleston. Cast a charm that'll bind them together like a Gideon's army to strike when the hour comes. Now, if you the wizard they say you are...
So, this is the reason you're here.
Is there a better reason?
There are better men than I to do what you want. Go back to your books. Leave me alone.
But Gullah...
I know you, Denmark. You come to laugh at me. You say, witch doctor, cast me a spell to make men free? Maybe I'm crazy. Yes, maybe. But I ain't no fool. But you, Denmark, you should have stayed a slave if you believe the masters can be changed by a spell. If I could cast a charm to free a man, wouldn't I cast one to free myself?
Listen, Gullah. I read one time of a giant who fell asleep in a foreign land. And while he slept, hordes of little men tied him with ropes and chains. And as long as the giant was asleep, he's a slave. But when he woke up and stretched and shook himself, the chains snapped and the ropes broke, and the little men hopped off his back like fleas, and he stood up free and strong. Now the slaves are giants, and the justice that's in the heart of every fair-minded man in this land, justice is a giant. The masters are the little men. When the slaves wake and stretch, they'll be free. And you can help them waken.
I see. Maybe I can help. Maybe I...
Who's that?
Hold your place, Denmark. That's my master. He's a word man. He comes at night for a sleeping spell. I'll give it to him. Then we'll awaken the giant.
They say Denmark and Gullah Jack Rollerhard and Peter Poyas made a pact to wake up the giant and put the slaveholders to sleep. They say month after month the fever spread, infecting thousands. The fever of freedom. And the day was near when Denmark's disease could not be quarantined. They say Denmark gathered his leaders together in the hayloft of a lonely barn to fix the hour.
Roller, you done got together the horses and riders?
Every slave who handles a horse will be ready to pull cannons once we get them.
Gullah?
I've been in the arsenal. I cast a spell for the captain just yesterday. The arsenal is full of cannon and powder.
You, Peter?
Denmark, the Lord spoke to me last night.
Yeah?
And he said, watch out for Judas.
Yeah, we'll be watching. Now, we'll set the day and hour.
I've noticed the stars, and they sit well for this month. Tomorrow the moon hangs low, and it'll be blood red.
I've watched the way the militia moves, and we'll have to move quicker.
Denmark! They found out. They're coming looking for us.
What? Who's looking? Who's found out?
Everybody.
Who is everybody?
Colonel Potter.
Who told him?
It wasn't me, not me. Jason, the houseboy. We gotta run.
We won't run. We're gonna stand our ground. Roller?
Yes.
The Colonel's your master. You face him.
What?
Yeah, I can see him coming from here. The Colonel, his guards, and the houseboy. Go down and meet him, Roller.
Why?
You gotta face your accuser. You gotta out-talk him or we'll all hang. Now go on.
Shall I cast a charm for Roller?
Let Roller cast his own charm. Go on down, Roller. Face him.
They say Denmark waited in the loft while Roller climbed down the ladder and walked to the door to face his accuser. They say at that moment the Colonel had the revolt resting at his gunpoint.
Master, come in.
You needn't say master to me anymore. When this is done, you'll be dead.
Dead?
Yes, dead. Jason told me about the plot. Before you die, you'll give me the name of every leader and recruit in your rebellion.
What are you talking about, Master?
Jason?
Yes, Master?
Jason, tell Roller what you overheard.
I heard him say he'd get men to burn the plantations. Some slaves would escape to Canada, and others would go about the land free and the unfree. That's the way he put it.
Well, Roller?
I feel sorry for poor Jason.
Feel sorry for yourself.
And I feel sorry for you, Master, for believing him. You know Jason's run off twice.
What's that got to do with you?
I won't argue with him.
Don't deny he's telling the truth.
I don't deny I'm the best slave you got. I've worked harder and earned more for you than Jason, haven't I?
You've done that?
I'm the best treated slave in Charleston. I've never complained or asked for anything. Have I?
No, you haven't.
Then wouldn't it seem I like my slavery, that I love my master?
It seems a sane, logical man would.
If you kill me, who'll handle your crops as well as I do? Who'll earn money for you the way I do?
You've never given me trouble. It don't seem natural you'd start now.
No, Master, it don't.
Jason?
Yes, Master?
I'm going to teach you a lesson for trying to stir up trouble.
But, Master...
Guard, take him to the yard. 30 lashes.
I didn't do nothing.
And Roller?
Yes, Master.
Roller, you'd better be telling the truth, or there'll come a day.
Yes, Master. There is coming a day.
They say the Colonel lowered his gun and left the barn. And Denmark, Peter, and Gullah came together and pushed ahead the day of deliverance.
We can't wait no longer. They'll call up the militia for show now. We gotta beat them to the arsenal. We move tonight.
If the militia gets there first, should we turn back?
This road leads only one way, to liberty or death.
Cherries, sweet cherries, cherries, right back right.
Is the road clear, Annie?
It's clear now, but the militia will be coming soon.
Yeah, you warn us when you see them.
I'll warn you. I'll stand in their way selling cherries. When I call blood red, they're coming up the hill.
They may take your life for this.
My life is your life, Denmark. Now let me sell my cherries.
We'll see what we can buy over at the arsenal. Peter, you ready?
The Lord has spoken.
Gullah?
Twist your neck, tap your knee. When the moon goes down, we'll be free.
All right, let's move.
When the moon comes down to blood, oh, when the moon comes down to blood. Oh,
They say a red moon hung low over Charleston. They say Denmark led, Peter sang, and the slaves fell in behind the moving men. They say on plantations and farms, in cabins and houses, 100 miles around, men waited to hear the arsenal crack. But they say the militia got there first and charged through the marketplace before Denmark got to the gates of the arsenal. They say you could hear the cherry woman cry when her eyes caught sight of the soldiers.
Blood red cherries, blood red cherries.
They say the shots tore her down like a vine off a tree. Red cherries jumped into the gutter. Red blood shot from the wounded and the dying. Red cherries rolled under the feet of the fighting, the straining, the reaching to be free. They say the reaching fell short. They say the militia took the arsenal. They say they took 100 dead slaves to their grave and 100 leaders to jail. And they took Denmark Vesey to the rack, and at last to court.
Denmark Vesey.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before I pass sentence, do you have anything to say to explain your crimes?
I have a word, Your Honor.
Speak and be brief.
You speak of my crimes, Your Honor. Yet I feel no guilt. On the contrary, I felt to be idle while other men yearned to be free was wrong. So I was not idle. Others talked, I acted. I'd act again.
Order! Is that all you can say to explain your treachery?
Your Honor, what you call my treachery began when I read the Declaration of Independence, when I read what Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Paine, Lafayette, and Jefferson said and did. And their words warm my blood. They said, each of us belong to each other, even you to me and I to you. Therefore, is there a man born of woman who is not my brother? Is there a woman born of suffering who is not my sister? Is there a price for such humanity? When I was a slave, I discovered my price and I paid it. If today my life is the price I must pay, I shall pay. For somewhere there's another life and another day. Such a day when justice becomes a giant, when to be human becomes a habit. Such a day our children shall see, as bright as the cherries they sell in the market, as bright as the cherries of the woman I loved.
They say the clerk stopped writing and put away the record. The court called for the highest price. The hangman's hand tightened, then relaxed on the rope. Denmark paid, and the masters went home to bed. But they say Gullah Jack in his cell cast a spell, and no master slept well. For they say the giant was awake, and the giant never slept again, till all the slaves were free. That's what they say about Denmark Vesey.
From Hollywood, the CBS Radio Workshop has presented Sweet Cherries in Charleston, written by Richard Durham, with Roy Glenn playing Denmark Vesey. Ted DeCorsia was the narrator, and the music was composed and conducted by Amerigo Marino. Included in the cast were Abby Shuford, Stotts Cotsworth, Eddie Marr, Paul Frees, Corny Anderson, Parley Bear, and Harry Bartell. Next week, the Workshop will present from New York a study of a hit-and-run driver. Death drives a black sedan. This is the CBS Radio Network.